Brrrah! What's up my people, my name is Spicy and I want to remind you to participate in the giveaway to win one of the 4 Amazon gift cards I am gifting you for helping me reach the 2500 subscribers mark. First, subscribe, then click the link in the description and get a chance to win. It is totally free. I've got some spicy Idontworkherelady stories for you today, so tune in. Turn on the notifications to be part of the early gang and leave a fire in the comments if you are having fun with me. Congratulations Wicked Witch for the comment of the day. Brrrah. I did work there. This may not be the best place for this, but I think it's in the same spirit of this subreddit. This happened when I was working for the non-trademark infringing Paul Mart as an unloader. We did exactly that. We unloaded the truck to pallets, then moved those pallets to the floor to be worked by third shift. It was horrible. Thankless job. It is also a job that does not lend itself to customer service very much. Not only that, but an unloaded has no idea about the ins and outs of other departments. Anyway, one of the last things off the truck are huge pallets of dog food that each weigh close to a ton. We usually take turns avoiding having to pull them unless the good boss was there who would let us race. Quickest person out to pets and back with one of those behemoths could take a 30-minute break on the clock for both 15 minutes breaks in a shift. This night I was not lucky, so I am dressed like an unloader in typical Paul Mart garb with a name tag and a colorful vest on that no one in their right mind would wear unless they were being poorly paid to wear it. I am pulling an 1,850 pounds pallet of dog food at full clock because I want to win. Now, under the best of circumstances, a poorly wrapped near ton of dog food does not stop really quickly, and when it has to, bad things tend to occur. Add in my moving much faster than the best of circumstances because of the race, and a doctor's build is required. So I bust through the doors of electronics as full bore and go steaming down part of the video games aisle, which was completely clear a moment ago. And then a wild customer appears. This old defiant lady steps right out in front of me, less than 4 steps ahead of me, with 1,850 pounds of flying dog food and asks, "Sir, do you work here?" I hit the brakes hard, and by this I mean I pull the lever that drops the load to the floor. The pallet still moves forward and the double wheel creams the back of my foot. The dog food sways forward and, in my head, I see half a ton of dog food just crushing this old lady, so I twist and push on the leaning tower of Pow Chow, but thankfully it falls backwards instead. Several bags break open. A guy pulling something else out from the bag nearly gets smashed by the falling bags but just barely dodges them. Things on his pallet fall off and crash as they hit the floor. Found out later it was a box of glass piggy banks destined for jewelry. I turn back around and in my best customer service voice ask, "I'm sorry ma'am, could you repeat that?" This little old lady has enough sense about her to know that something just happened. I could not tell that if her grasp was firm enough to realize just how bad it could have become. "Do you work here?" she asked again, a bit more meekly than before. "No," I replied. "It is just my turn to feed Clifford." By this time, 2 managers had arrived. One was angry at me, and the other, upon hearing what I said, had to stifle laughter. They were different level managers. The mad manager tries to help the lady with her TV questions, while the other one helped me back past the broken piggies to the break room. I am just glad my ankle didn't break. Edit. I don't think people who have never pulled a pallet of dog food or water realize the difference in speed between how fast one can go with them when lagging around versus trying to be quick. I assure you that even if I were not trying to be faster and was pulling at the speed I would be going under normal circumstances, the pallet would not have gone any slower, any quicker. For these things, it is mostly a function of how fast you get up to speed and not the final speed achieved. I was actually moving just slower than my normal walking speed. But you get to the point where going slower is horrible and going faster is not an option. The race is how quickly you can attain that equilibrium and how long you can sustain it. That will make you faster in the overall trip. And this occurred as it was dying in the store, as these things are the last move, so it was close to 10 to 10:30 p.m. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is why I quickly step out of the way from any pallet wielding person. I can move faster than they can stop. While maybe you were going a little fast, that lady was an absolute idiot for stepping in front of you. And she was dangerously egoistic for not realizing and profusely apologizing for causing both of you and her to nearly get crushed and causing a lot of money in damaged products and cleanup time. Parking spot lady. We have a half floor in a small office building. Parking for visitors is in a row behind the building, and a larger area is off to the side with designated spots for tenants' employees. There are 20 visitor spots, but our building manager gave, at no charge, 2 of those spots to her friend that works in a different building next door. There is parking next door, but tenants there have to pay extra to have them designated. Let's call her Bad Lady, BL. I often go out walking around the building to make calls and not be disturbed by or be disturbing to our office staff. I can be loud on the phone. Anyway, the first occurrence was before this lady's 2 spots were even marked differently than the other visitor spots. On this day, there were other cars parked there. She pulls in right as I am walking by and shouts, "Get these cars out of here! I need to park! I can't do anything about the cars. Just park over there." And I point at 5 other empty visitor stalls. "No, these 2 are mine. Get them moved. You work here, right?" I just have office space here. I don't run the building. I just walk away and ignore her. When I was back in my office, I looked down from my window and saw she taking 2 other spots by parking horribly crooked. About 6 months later, after a special signage was added to mark her stalls reserved, the same thing happened again. This time, I interrupted her. "You guys are using my spots. Move them or..." "Not my problem. I don't know whose cars those are and I don't care." She curses at me as I walked away. Whatever. Bonus. A few months later, a new building manager is hired. I asked to meet about her parking situation. I wanted some more for our employees, but also took the opportunity to ask what's up with the designated ones in visitor parking. The new manager was not pleased and ripped the signs down right then and there. Unfortunately, I did not get to see what happened when the bad lady found out. But I want to know what happens when she found out. And technically, you'd have to be paying for those parking spots as part of your lease for the office space. So it sounds like the manager was screwing you out of your entitlement under the lease. But I believe in this case, the visitor parking was more treated as a common area. So in this case, all the rent they were paying for this and the bad lady should never have been allowed to use any of them. Never mind have a couple set aside. Just a quick reminder before we get to the next story, I just want to say, if you enjoy my videos and you want to see more of them, please consider subscribing to the channel because I am a small YouTuber and each subscription counts. So thank you for everyone who's been supporting me, and thank you for those who will continue to support me and those who wants to support me. Thank you, thank you, thank you from the bottom of my heart. And if you're wondering how you can support me, you can either subscribe to the channel, you can like the video, and you can leave a comment, and ultimately you can share the video. Oh, and for the comments, I love fire emojis. It just shows that the video is on fire, so you might consider doing that as well. Thank you though, very much. I am not a bus driver. I work for a major city transport company. This company is run by the city and has multiple companies under one big umbrella called Transport for My City. No, it is not London. This name is made up. So the company I work for runs the trains in our city, and our uniforms differ depending on which company you work for. For example, bus drivers wear orange jackets and white shirts. Tram drivers teal jackets and gray shirts. Colors change to hide my identity. You get the idea. The only similarity that each company has in the uniform is the Transport for My City badge, which has the badge on the breast and back with city name buses or city name trams or city name metro. Anyway, I had to deliver a letter from our head manager. I work for My City Trains to the head manager at My City Buses. This is getting so confusing. We usually have an internal post delivery service. However, they come in the morning, and this letter was too urgent to wait until tomorrow's post service. So I make my way to the main bus depot in my bright fluorescent yellow jacket and black shirt. I walk up to the receptionist, who was expecting me and pointing me in the direction of the big boss's office. I delivered the letter, made a little chit chat, and then made my way out of the depot. I went out via the staff sign on point as it was closest to where I parked, and I also knew some of the staff members as they used to work with me. I parked the bright yellow company car that had My City Trains marked on the side. The car was parked inside the garage where all the buses were stored. I parked it in the small delivery bay. The staff sign on window looked directly at the bay. I went and delivered the letter via reception at the other side of the building, as I wanted to comply with the signs that instructed deliveries via reception. I also wanted to go past the fuel refill station as I love the smell of oil and diesel. Anyway, I digress. I walked out the building and past the sign on window. I saw an old colleague and started chatting with them about this and that. I then heard someone banging on the glass at the sign on window. Imagine the sign on office as a bank teller window. We both glanced over and my friend, dressed in the bus uniform, said her goodbyes and walked over to the window. She then called me over saying they want me. Maybe the letter I delivered was missing something and the boss wanted me to explain? I walked back to the window where my friend was standing with her duty equipment, looking at a map on the wall that had her bus location. When I arrived, I was asked if I was doing anything. Not really. I am free now that I've delivered the sign on staff. Right, take this. A bus has broken down and I need you to continue that service. He hands me over a key fob and a clipboard. I stood sort of bemused with my mouth open, looking around to see if I was supposed to give this duty stuff to anyone. After a short few seconds, the penny dropped. Sorry, you must be mistaken, but I'm not about your park in Bay 20C on the Volvo fleet. Hurry, you're about to miss your timings. He then turned on his heels and scurried off into the back of the room. I looked at my friend who was holding her sides laughing, calling the sign-on staff member an idiot as she walked over to her bus. So I am now stood in the middle of a bus garage, obviously wearing a train uniform, holding bus equipment. I started to go a bit red with embarrassment as I now look like the idiot who has forgotten which company who works for. I ring the bell for attention at the sign-on window, and the same sign-on staff member approached, cursing me and asking why I am not on board yet. Look, I am not driving this bus. I am a train driver. He must not have been listening to me correctly as he's preoccupied with his iPad. How is that my problem? You have your stuff. Go. No, you're not hearing me properly. I don't work for this company. Then why are you here? If you're not wanting to report for duty, then call in sick. Since nothing was getting through his dense skull, I decided to remain silent until I had his full attention. He must have taken this silence as me leaving as he was fully engrossed in his iPad. I slammed the clipboard and fell back on the desk as loud as I could, which made him slightly jump. But again, he was still sucked in by the black hole on his iPad screen. Excuse me, what? Still headfirst in his iPad. Look at me. He then looked at me, and I swear to God, one eye was drifting down towards his iPad while one was scanning my torso. Then the penny dropped. Both eyes snapped back together, looking right into my soul. You do realize you're in the wrong building? You're trained staff. I started to look around the garage in complete amazement, hoping my friend had just heard this. But she disappeared into the bus void, never to be seen again. I was here to deliver a letter to boss. Well, this is not his office. I know, I just came from the office. Never mind, take your stuff back. Maybe you should listen to your staff more. Maybe you should come to the correct depot. I rolled my eyes and shook my head at him while fixing my bright yellow jacket and over-exaggerating my movements when zipping the front up all the way to my chin so he could see the bright yellow I am a trained staff jacket I was wearing. I then walked over to my bright yellow I am a trained staff car and slammed the door as hard as I could while looking him in the eyes. Pointless endeavor as his eyes were back to his iPad. I went back to my depot, which, by the way, is on the outskirts at the opposite end of the city, and told my manager about this buffoon. After a quick description of him, my manager chuckled and said, "Ha! You have finally met Charlie." Supposedly, the guy is a moron, but due to nepotism, he somehow has a job in that company. Goddamn Charlie. Every business has a Charlie. Hey, please participate in the giveaway where I am giving you 4 Amazon gift cards of $25 each. You can buy anything you want with these cards. All you need to do is subscribe to the channel and click the link in the description. It would ask you for your email, and that is for me to reach you out because I can contact people through YouTube. There's just no option to message my viewers. So go ahead and participate in the giveaway for Amazon gift cards. You will find more Idontworkherelady videos here, and please like this video if you're having fun. See ya!